Now that we've gone over the history section, we're going to go into communication. Communication is a huge part of making up a country. Most communication goes from a national language. The national language in Mexico is Spanish, but it's also recognized that there are 68 other indigenous languages. What that means is that people from native parts of Mexico that grew up with the Aztec language that isn't exactly Spanish, they each get to recognize that as their own language and they're not forced to learn Spanish. There are also different parts of Mexico and they speak a little different Spanish there. So I could say one thing in Spanish that was fine where I was from but could offend someone from another part of Mexico. So you have to be really careful with how you use the actual language there. Another way that you can pick up if you don't know any of the language there or it is a bit different is through nonverbal communication. That's a huge way of how we tell how people are actually feeling. We can tell if someone's happy, if they have a smile on their face, if they're down by the way that they're slumped over. Nonverbal communication is just a really important way to pick up on someone's feelings or mood. In Mexico, nonverbal communication is used through eye contact, posture, and even the way that they look at time. Now, the eye contact is really, really important in Mexico. They have a lot of it. If you're uncomfortable with eye contact in Mexico, you need to get over it very fast. Just like in America, we have eye contact when we're speaking with our teachers or elders or when we're giving a professional speech. In Mexico, it's full-on eye contact, especially in business, but even when talking to your family, it's face-to-face. You look in the eye when you talk. Another thing is how they look at time. In Mexico, they live each day to the fullest, just day by day. They're not in a rush to do anything. They're really relaxed with time, and they're often late to things. You can tell that by the way that they have their posture. As you can see that I'm standing upright and straight. In Mexico, they're more likely to be slumped over like this when they're talking, or if I was to give a speech in Mexico, I'd probably be more just relaxed, like, okay, it's not that big of a deal. Another thing that you can pick up on is gestures that are used in Mexico. When you meet someone, you go up and shake their hand, but you also can touch their hand on the side, touch their forearm, just give them a little squeeze. They're a very touch-oriented country. So by the second or third time that you meet someone, it doesn't matter if you just met a day ago. They're going to go up after they shake your hand that once. They're going to go up for a hug. Probably the third time they're going to go up, give you a kiss on the cheek. They don't have a lot of personal space there. They don't really care for it or see a need. So if you're out in a crowd, people are going to be really close together. On a bus, people are really close together. If a mom is having a baby and the baby's reaching for you, the mom is likely to just sit the baby on you. I've seen that happen when I've been to Mexico. They really just feel so close to one another and they don't need personal space. Another thing is the gender roles. That was something that stood out to me while researching over this, is they take a more traditional look at gender roles and gender differences in communication. The men are more likely to go and be the outspoken ones and to have the final say, while the women are to stand back. They can give their opinions through the men, and then the men will, they'll discuss it with the women or the children, but in the end, it doesn't matter. They're going to be the ones that discuss it, especially in public when you're in a family setting, like a big group, and you're going out in public. The men are probably going to speak for the women. They're probably going to order their food for them. It is changing a little bit. Women are getting a little more of a say, but they definitely take a traditional view on how to communicate when it comes to that. Communication is just a really important key. It discusses how we live with one another. If I went to Mexico not knowing any of the things that I know now and I was scared, of touch, I would feel very uncomfortable. But once you learn about how the different ways you can communicate, not only through just Spanish, but nonverbal communication, gestures, you can really understand the country as a whole. And I think it's really cool that not only their communication just filters out through them, but it also goes into their pop culture, which is what we're going to discuss now.